Your name, when you were born, where you were born?
My name is Hanna Markovits. I was born with that. I got married and I took, my husband's name was Hollander, so I had to be a Hollander in this country. I was born in 1929, and it was a city, not a big city, but it wasn't a smaller city. It was where I was born. And I grew up Orthodox way. My family was Orthodox all the way as far as I know, all of them. When I was 9 years old, the Nazis, the Germans, one Saturday morning knocked at the door. Before I go through, but 2 years later, when the Nazis came in, they took away everything from the Jews. No radios, no nothing. We lived like in the dark. We didn't know nothing, that there is Germans or there isn't Germans. After they took away, we didn't know. One Saturday morning they came, and 3 Nazis, and they knocked at the door, and they came and they says, you have an hour to leave. You can take anything, whatever you can carry in your hand. So it wasn't easy. I had a sister and 2 brothers. My mother got very busy for the kids' clothes and to put in and all that. Finally, they took us to the shul.
Was your father with you at that time?
Yeah. And they took us away under house arrest in the shul. We in Europe had 2 shuls, one a big one and one a smaller one. So they took us in the shul, and we were there, I would think maybe about a month or 6 weeks, something like that. And then they got from all over the neighborhood, they got all the Jews together in that place. After that, they took us to a big city. It was a brick factory, maybe 3-4 blocks wrong. So we went out in that brick factory. We slept on the floor, we ate on the floor. Sometimes we had blankets, we didn't, because we couldn't take everything from the house. So we stayed there till they got all from the whole neighborhood, the Jews together. After we were all together, we went to Auschwitz.
How did you go? Did you go by train?
By train. They put, the Germans' only thing was by train. They always carried full loads by train. And we were under a covered wagon, but you put a merchandise or what, it was covered, not empty. And they put in how many they could. We were like cows, like one on top of the other. We couldn't move.
Was it your whole family that?
My whole family was there. And some of them, we had little babies, newborns, and we had old people. So it took maybe about 5-6 days till we got to Auschwitz.
So you had to leave your home and leave everything?
Everything. We never saw the home that day when they took us in the shul. We couldn't go home no more. So we left everything behind.
Except what you could carry. Huh?
Yes. And when we came to Auschwitz, there was with us a lot of kids and older people. They couldn't make 3, 4 days, 5 days the traveling because there was no food and no water, no nothing. So some of them, the old one and the little babies died in the wagon. And they wouldn't even take down the one who passed away. We had to put them in a, like pile one on the other, the dead one, and we traveled like this 5, 6, 7 days. We traveled to Auschwitz. When we came to Auschwitz, we never knew what Auschwitz is, or they take together the Jews, because they took everything away from us.
You didn't know about that?
No, we didn't know anything. We lived in the dark. So then when we came to Auschwitz, there was a right side and a left side. And Mengele was in the middle, and he
was the decision.
Mengele was whoever he wanted, he sent the right or left. We never knew what's right or left. My mother, my father, they were very young. They weren't old people. They were very young. I was the oldest, 9 years old. So my mother didn't want to give away my brothers and sisters. So they took her to the right. And my father and me, we went to the left. We didn't know what's right or left. When we came there, they had a huge, how shall I say, it wasn't like a shack, like a black lung.
A barracks.
Yeah, like a barrack, like a shack. Yeah. And there, we had to take our clothes down, our jewelry, everything we had to give up, nothing. Our hair was cut, complete.
What happened to your suitcases?
I never saw them, never. I never saw my mother or my father or my sister. They were killed. Those people who went to the right, they went right away in. What the Germans did, from where we got, they had a huge, and and they had showers. So if they wanted people should be dead, they put in gas in those. The cheapest, they gassed the people, they fell down, and they put them in the chimney. They went straight to the ovens and they got burned. The people who survived, they gave a shower. That's what we didn't know anything what's going on.
You and your father had a shower?
Yes. My father and me had a shower. But when we came, Mengele was the man who sent to right and left. He never talked. He had a big stick like this, and he only showed here or left. That's all. So then the Germans came 3, 4, and we had to run so fast. And I was a young kid. I couldn't run so fast like the rest of them. So my father tried to keep me, because I was beaten with a whip in my back because I couldn't run so fast. So my father tried to pick me up and put on the shoulder. He got whipped too for that, but we made it. After a few days, I never saw my father after a day. One day after that, I saw my father. I didn't know if he is alive or he is dead, because when we stayed in Auschwitz, I used to cry. I was a 9-year-old kid. Where is my mom, my dad? Like a kid. So they used to show me, you see there the chimney? they were a long time burned. That's what they used to tell me. So then I had with me a lot of beautiful, good people. I never knew them. They really tried to raise me. They tried. When we got to Birkenau, Birkenau was a camp across the street. Here was Auschwitz, and here was Birkenau. But Birkenau, they called it a gypsy camp. Why did they call it gypsy? Because we were, I don't suppose to live. But they had so many Jews that they couldn't kill so fast. They couldn't burn them so fast. They brought in the hundreds and hundreds daily. So all those people who were in Birkenau, they used to come sometimes 3, 4 at night. If there was room for 10 or 20 or 30, Mengele came and picked up, and they went with the people to the chimneys, to the shower, to the chimneys.
I want to back up a little bit, if you don't mind.
More?
And ask about, before the Germans came to your town, did you go to, you were going to school at that time?
Yeah.
Did you notice anti-Semitism when you were in school?
Maybe a little bit. We started to know Semitism when Hitler came in. Not before, no. We had a very good life by the Czechs. We were free. We had, like any other citizen, we had homes and we work and business, like everybody else. We were very good till Masaryk was there, the president. And then, before the Nazis came in, they killed, when the Nazis came in, they killed Masaryk, the president, because of us. Because he was too good to the Jews. So then it came anti-Semite. But right away after that, he picked us up, the German. We didn't stay that long. Maybe but a month or 6 weeks, they started to take us, the Jews.
Okay.
So before that, I had a very normal life like any other kid. I went to school, I went to Cheder, whatever there was other kids. I even remember a lot of time, Christmas time, when we had Orthodox, the Christian was Orthodox by us. So with the kids, they used to even take me to show how Christmas looks. Or they went for Passover, you know, they went with to bless the. Yeah, I used to run with my friends, so too. We lived like kids.
Did your family belong to a temple?
Yes, yeah. In Europe, everybody was in a temple. There was non-Jews who didn't come to a temple. When I was very little, I used to love to go with my father to shul, with my mother. I used to get up early, they shouldn't forget me. I was afraid that they will forget me and I'm going to stay home. So I used to, and I was so proud. I had new shoes, a new dress. I can, with my kids, with my friends, like a normal 8, 9, 6-year-old kid.
What language did you speak in the house? The language you spoke in the house?
We spoke Yiddish home and Czech. We only spoke Czech in school or outside. My grandparents were born in Austria-Hungary. That was way, way before. So some of them, they spoke Hungarian too. My grandparents, And my parents used to here and there a little bit. And we didn't understand. The children, when they wanted to talk secret, so they spoke Hungarian. We shouldn't understand what they are talking.
What kind of business did your father have?
My father and grandfather, my father was, they were buying off, how shall I say, trees in the woods, because they were building the bridges. The bridge in Europe, in Czechoslovakia, they didn't have with iron or anything. Everything was with woods. And my father was an architect and my grandfather too. So they were together. They used to go out and buy a whole, I don't know how you call it, trees. And we had workers and they used to cut down those trees and cut them and refine them and take them to the bridges. They are right now still and their names in Europe. They still stand there.
Oh, that's neat.
So I come, I would say, from a pretty wealthy family, not a poor family, because we had everything. I didn't miss nothing while I was a kid. And I had a very warm grandfather and a father, a home, very lovable. And a lot of times I tell Kathy, and I told her that my grandfather, when they came home of buying the wood and all that, so he used to say, Hannele, come sit down on my lap. I sat down on my lap, and we had a smokehouse. And he told the maid, he says, go bring down a white or darker meat and all that. And the fire was on and it was cold, snowing. I used to sit on my father's lap and my grandma, my mother and father, he used to say, one for me, one for you. He took a little knife and he used to cut off. And he used to say, one for me, one for you, one for you, one for me. So I grew up with a lot of love. I think up to today, I feel that to be so young to go, that helped me a lot. Because I don't fight for nothing. I'm a very easygoing person.
So some of the kids that you were in school with, they were friendly, and your neighbors were friendly?
Yes, my neighbors were friendly. We used to go we had yeshivas for the boys. We had to go to public school, like here, I don't know how many hours exactly. From there, they went to Hebrew school, the boys. The girls, they came in a rabbi and they taught us to teach us to read.
In your own home?
In our own home. We paid the rabbis for that. But they used to come and teach the girls in the home. The boys went, like you would say here, a Hebrew school.
Did you have any hobbies at that time, or some of the activities while you were, before the Germans?
Before the Germans, we had no anti-Semitism. We were just, I had so many non-Jews friends. I couldn't see no different me than them. We played together, and I was Orthodox, like I said. They wanted to see how my holidays are, and I wanted to see how their holidays. And we used to mix. We didn't eat because we knew it's treifa, you know. Yeah. But we went there. We were friendly kids, holding hands, playing together, you know, that catch and seek, and like normal kids do. Till age of 9, I had a pretty normal life.
How did the neighbors react when the Germans took you away? Did you see any of the neighbors or some of your friends that you went to school
No, we didn't see them. Like I said, the Germans came, they were in their houses, and they didn't even come out, the non-Jews. They didn't even came.
But they knew what was happening.
I think they knew how, and I tell you why. When we went home about 12 people, the family. We went back the first time to see where we were born. And we are walking and talking between our Jewish. A lady walks across, and she says in Jewish, "From where are you kids?" So we told her we are from America, and she says, we came home to see what's going on. So she says to us, what's your name from home? So she says, my name was Markovitz, my father. And the lady says to me, don't you remember me? I says, no. She says, I used to say, I used to teach you how to pray in the morning and at night when you went to sleep. She spoke Hebrew, Jewish just like me. Then she was telling us that they knew in the churches the Nazis came in but 3 weeks before they took us. And they told them that the Jews will be taken away. And if they gonna say somebody, they're gonna be killed. So there is no whatsoever that we had any knowledge. Nobody told us. But we were like under house arrest. We couldn't go out. We couldn't play. We couldn't do anything. We were under house arrest. And if the Jews, they had a few hours that we could have go, our parents to shop, you know, to buy. We didn't have that much money, but whatever we had, the kids are hungry. So they used to, wherever they caught a Jew, they took him in the gutter and killed him. So they were scared to go to shop for food those few hours, because we were killed. A Jew was not worth it, nothing, not even a penny. To nobody, not to the Nazis and not to our people that we grew up with. They didn't give anything.
Did you know of any of your neighbors that tried to save some of the Jewish people?
There is a few people who got saved, but not in my town. Mine, they didn't even came to say hello or give us, or they saw how we were marching when the Nazis took us away, with a little package in the hand. I had a grandma, a great-grandma, she was close to 100. And I had a great-grandfather that when they came, the Nazis, my great-grandfather died, got a heart attack, and he died there. My grandmother wanted to bury him. They beat her up. We took her. She was old and brittle, and we ran with her because we never know where our great-grandfather is buried. We don't know nothing about it. And my grandmother died there too. So we don't know where they are buried or what.
Were you very close to your father's family or your mother's family? Did they live in the same town?
Yeah. We were living most of the family in the same We were living house after house. We had our own houses. We had our own properties. We had, whatever you would say, a nice home, a nice, wealthy home with grandmas and grandfathers and great. In Europe, the families were very close. Like, we used to live one house, and the next was my grandparents, but they have their own, and then they had their parents. We all had our own houses, but we used to. My great grandma, she was my savior. I was a tomboy, and I used to climb trees. I wanted to have cherries from the trees or plums. I used to like the boys. I used to tear my clothes, and I know I will be punished for that. So I used to go to my great-grandmother, and I used to say, "Look, Baba, what I did. My mom will hit me or punish me," and all that. She used to say, "Come here, Hannah. I fix it." She took off she put her big skirt on. "I'm gonna hide you. I fix it for you," so your parents wouldn't even know. That was my great-grandma. We grew up with a lot of love. I grew up with abundance of love from the whole family. And my grandparents and my father did very well. They kept up their parents. They paid, they got the housing. Everything was paid by the children. That's how Europe used to be, if you were in any means to pay. Then we went to Auschwitz, all of us. That's the last time I saw my mother and I had one more sister and 2 brothers. That's the last time I saw them, when we came to Auschwitz. And the Mengele took them away, and we didn't know we didn't know what right or left.
But you found out later.
Later we found out that the people who went right went to the crematorium.
And the people that went with you?
With me, they had a chance. But I was like I said, in the gypsy lager in Birkenau. That was like a death row, you know, because they couldn't kill so many how much they brought in. So they put those away, and whenever they had less quota to kill them, they took. Mengele came 5-6 times during the night and day, and we used to go, they used to say Selapel, they called it, in the line, 4 in a line we stayed.
You're all scheduled to die.
Yeah, and he used to go with the big stick, and whoever he wanted, he pointed, and that's all what you saw. Never again you saw that person back, never.
And you didn't see your father again after?
No, I didn't. After we went into that, I never saw my father. Never.
You were alone?
They were men separate and women separate. They never were together. So when I was hoping that my father was a young man, so was my mother, but she didn't want to give up my sisters and brother, my brothers and my sister. So if she would have given up, she might be alive today too.
Well, she tried to protect you.
She tried. I was the oldest one. I was 9 years old. So she tried to protect the little kids. We didn't know where we are going, where we are coming. We were like zombies. Yeah. We didn't do anything. If we would have known, we come from hills, from all we could have run. We could have hide. we didn't know nothing. Nothing but we weren't educated, they took away a half a year or more for everything from us.
Did they put you to work? Were you in like a work camp?
No, I didn't work in Auschwitz.
Did you work
In Birkenau. My log was they needed a group of people to go, they call it Bromberg. It was right not too far from Schindler's List. And it was Bydgoszcz, it was right near what we used to do. We used to carry on our shoulders cement, 50 pounds, other days. We built railroads. Why? Then when we finished the railroads, they came with trucks and they brought ammunition. And we had to take off from the truck to the wagon, and they took it to the front. So this is a lot of people like me that we feel we are alive. If they would not build, we wouldn't be alive.
So you helped them build railroads?
Right, oh yeah. With mine age, a 50-pound cement to carry to that railroad. Some of them had to build the railroad, and we used to carry the cement and all that.
You must have been a strong girl.
I don't know. I must be from age of 9, but I feel I am a lucky person. I had my family had my age. None of them survived this age. I was a very young kid, from 9 years old, and I survived.
Partly why you survived, I'm assuming that because you helped the Germans, you worked and you did things for them.
I don't know why I survived. I have a different belief why, but I don't know if that is the truth. When I was very young, I don't know if you will realize it, by us, the Satmar Rebbe, you heard about him?
Yep.
Okay. He started off with us. He was the Rebbe for a few years where we lived. And we were there Hasidim. You know what Hasidim is?
Sure.
So he blessed me when I was a very young kid, and I used to have a cameo. You know what that is? Like a...
Right, a necklace with the cameo.
Yeah, right. And that's mine, Terry, but I don't know if that's it or not. But I was as tall as now. I never grew nothing, because I come from tall parents. I never grew age in the height. My mother was tall and my father. My mother was 5'6", and my father was 6 feet tall.
Wow.
And I'm the shrimp.
But the shrimp lived.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Why do you think you survived the Holocaust? Is that...
That's my feeling of life. Maybe because I was blessed. I don't know. Very few people, Holocaust people, my age survived. I don't think so. You can count them on one hand, this age. Why? Did God love me? Was I lucky? I'm sure I was lucky. Why? A 9-year-old kid. But when we were in, they took us to Auschwitz. You know, we lived in in shacks so long, like 2 blocks long.
Like big barns.
Yeah, a barn or whatever you call it.
Barn.
And we had like the double beds, you know.
Bunk beds.
Yeah. So we used to sleep. It wasn't much bigger than that couch there.
Yeah.
So we used to sleep 6 like this and 6 from this side. So we were just like herring. We couldn't, if one of us wanted to turn around, everybody had to wake up.
Oh, wow.
And that's how they got us in the morning out in Auschwitz, and they took us to the bathroom. Worst was we couldn't go to the bathroom. Twice a day when we came home from work, we went to the bathroom, and in the morning when we went to work, we had a bathroom. So we couldn't do. We were in then, and they used to wake us up 3:30, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and they used to put us in the, and they used to call it celapel, to count. They used to count us maybe 5, 6 times, a lot of time at night, mostly at night. And they counted us 4 in a rack. And I had a cousin of mine. She watched over me like a mama would. We were very together. The older people tried to watch over the younger one. Like I never stayed the first one in the line or the last one. They always, the younger kids, they put in the middle so Mengele shouldn't see that much, because the first and the last one was more visible to him.
Yes.
So the kids, that we were a few of them very young, we always stayed in the middle. Or sometimes when we were very sick, we couldn't our head to keep up. Only time they used to take in the back to we should stay, because if we would say we are sick, then we would have go to the chimney. You couldn't. We couldn't say we had a earache or we need a dentist, the tooth to fill or pain, because that they put you to the gates, and the gates were all electric. If you touched that gate, you got electrocuted. You wouldn't survive. So when they put us, and they only gave us 1 shot, always, in the head, in our brains. They never wasted 2 bullets. They wasted 1.
Wow.
That's how we were when we were in concentration. But when we came to work, it was a little bit easier because they gave us something to eat. We got up 4 o'clock in the morning. They took us to the bathroom. From the bathroom, they took us for counting. And after they were counted, we went through a line and we got black coffee. But it was full of sand. Everything what we ate there was sand. I don't know why. And we went to work. We came home 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night from work. At the same thing, they took us to the bathroom. We stayed in the line, and they gave us potato soup, they called it. But it wasn't even peels in it. It was water and sand. It was all sand. They never washed anything. And we got maybe 2 little skinny slices bread in the evening when we came home. We stayed in the line from work. But we didn't work 8 hours. We worked 10, 11, how much they wanted it. And we had to work. They watched over us. If you didn't work, you used to get beaten up. And from there, if you fell or what, you were in the crematorium. They never took you. We had a man who came in the early evening when we came home from work. And he used to go a whole day in a little wagon, walk and pick up the bodies. We were dying daily, just fainted and you were dead. So a whole day he used to pick up dead bodies. That's how many people died daily.
Well, you were healthy enough too when that's what...
I wasn't.
survived.
I remember I was twice very sick, but the older woman helped me out. We helped each other how much we can.
Yeah, because when you were counted by a pal in the morning,
Yeah,
and you could stand for hours just being counted.
right.
And,
We used to stay hours.
So
I have frozen toes because we had no shoes. We had for a while, they gave us as a one dress, a long one. It was striped. The dress was striped. And it said here, Judah, Jew, here and in the back. It said Jew on it. And some of the people used to ask, you know, the Nazis, what did I do that I should be killed? And they says, your crime was being a Jew. That was our crime. And in Europe, the Jews, they were really nice. They never killed, they never they were very honorable. The Jewish people in town, and we had no problem whatsoever.
we had very little food, and the food was not good.
No, we had that 2 slices bread. You know why? You can 3 times swallow what you had for the day. And the cup of coffee with seed, and at night they used to get potato, they called it potato, not even a peel was there in the soup. It was water and sand.
Wow, how can you survive on that? Hard.
I don't know. We survived that.
How long were you in the camps?
I was in Auschwitz about 6 months.
And then you went to Birkenau.
And then I went to Auschwitz and Birkenau is the same. But that was, I went like I was like in a death row in Birkenau. Birkenau was a death row.
Yeah.
They couldn't burn, kill, because they brought in too many Jews and they didn't have time to kill them. So they went to Birkenau, those people. And each day, if they needed during the day or night, they used to come. And Mengele, 1, 2, 3, Mengele was the father for us. He took what he wanted. It.
Yeah.
He was
He probably was, I assume, looking for healthy people, or people that maybe could still work.
I really don't know. There was a less, we tried not to be sick, but in his eye, he looked at us different. He looked who is sick and who is not sick.
Right.
And that's what we went to the crematorium. First, when we came, he took all the young kids, all the parents, and all the old people. And he left the middle like me. But not too many are young like me. They were a little bit, you know, teenagers, 18, 19, 20, 21, those he took. Why I fell in those, I don't know.
Because you looked healthy.
I have no idea if I look healthy. How can a 9-year-old kid look healthy? when I have, they took away my mother and father, and I cried like a child. I wanted my mom and my dad,
Yeah.
my sisters, my brothers. I don't know. I really don't know why I was blessed. I feel I was blessed. I feel.
You were blessed and you were lucky.
Lucky, right, right. A lot of people, when I go somewhere, to people ask me, how come you are you were that young? How
Hey,
come you said?
Turn it down. Like that.
How come you survived?
Turn up just a hair.
How? What can I tell them? How come I survived? I don't know how I survived.
So where did you go? Can you tell me where you went after Birkenau?
Then we went to Bydgoszcz, Bromberg they called it German, and Bydgoszcz they called it, it's right next to Krakow, a small town. And there where we had to build a railroad to go in to Auschwitz. So we had to build the railroads. So after we finished with the railroads, they used to bring the trucks, ammunition. We used to take down from the truck and put this in the wagons. They delivered that to the front. Bombs with all kind of ammunition.
Can you tell me where you were when you were liberated?
I was liberated.
Where were you when you were liberated?
In Poland. I got liberated with by the Russians. You know that deeper in Germany, the American and the British went in there.
Yes.
And to Poland, the Russian liberated. I got liberated maybe 5 months or more earlier than they liberated in Germany, the people. Because I was right very close. You know, the Germans were fighting with the Russians, so they pushed them back. So the Russians came in to us, and they liberated.
Were you in a displaced person camp? After you were liberated, where did you go? What happened?
Everybody went from every Holocaust in Poland, in Germany, everywhere. They used to call us to the Death March. They tried we should go the places where they had crematoriums to burn us.
So after you were liberated, they still...
No. While they were there, when the war came closer and closer, they took us more in the Death March, they call it. Most Holocaust survivors was liberated by walking because they tried to take us in to the chimneys, I was close to Auschwitz, there where they tried to send us. There's one day we saw, we looked, and nobody, our camp was open, the concentration camp where I worked, and nobody, we couldn't find no Germans, nobody, we saw them running, we didn't know what's going on. So we started to run too, but we didn't know. One side was running the Germans, and then the other side was the Russians. And we were in the middle of that, and quite a few people got killed there because we were in the middle. We had nothing, but the Russians came in and we deliberated by the Russians.
Were you in a displaced persons camp, or how did you get to the United States? Or
the United States, how I came, my whole life is by luck. I came to the United States. When I got liberated, So we went first home. We thought maybe my mother came, my sisters. We didn't know what
Did
to.
you see some
My
of your
father,
former neighbors when you
yeah,
went home?
we went home.
Yeah.
Oh, we went by bus and by trains because everything was bombed. By walking, it took us weeks till we got home. So we were watching all over. Maybe somebody lived, maybe my mother, maybe my father, maybe somebody. We were looking, every train or a bus came in, we were waiting by that. Maybe we see somebody home. Nobody showed up. Then after a while, from Israel, they used to come shlichim. You know what a shliach is?
No, I've heard of it, yeah.
A shliach went, he is a sender. That's the interpretation of it. But what they looked for kids like me. They pick up the young kids, were orphans. I was an orphan. I had no mother, no father, no parents, nothing in the world. I was only one, a little 13-year-old little girl, that's all. I didn't, so they came and they picked me up. And they took us to Hungary. In Hungary, they had a big organization to go to Palestine. At that time was Palestine. So, but we had to go through a lot of stuff. When we were around 30, 40 kids, they smuggled us into Austria. How did they do it? They had wagons of hay. You remember the horses with the hay? They pulled out the hay and they put us in between. So we got smuggled in like this to Austria. We stayed for a while, maybe a month or so in Austria because we were very sick. We were very malnutrition. Some of us couldn't walk. They were just, how you call it, you see those skinny, yes. You know. When I got liberated, I got 32 pounds.
Wow.
So they came and they took me and they smuggled me into Austria, from Austria to Italy with the horses of hay. And after that, they bought a little fishing boat. I came to Israel very early, much, much earlier than anybody else because we were liberated by the Russian. And when I came to Israel, they put me in a school. And I got my education in Palestine. And they took kids like me in the schools. We got maybe two dresses up and down. One, we got a pair of shoes. You know how orphans are. But we managed.
How long did you stay in Israel before coming
Palestine?
Palestine.
Oh, then I met my husband and we got married, but that's another thing. You see, when I came to Israel, I was in a school. My husband heard that there is in this and this town, in this and this place, is young kids from the Holocaust. And we were always searching. For years, we were searching, maybe mom or dad or sister, maybe somebody came home. We didn't know that. So,
can you turn that down? Too light. Too bright.
It just popped on.
Oh, okay. What happened? Everything went up.
He came to search where I was in the school. He heard that there is a group of kids, that they are the Holocaust survivor and they have a school. So he came When he came, I had a boy was there with me in school by the same name Hollander, was my husband. So in the office, they were, that time they had just one telephone. It wasn't in the office in Palestine, and where I come from, the school. And they were hollering, Hollander, Hollander. So both of them were running to take that call. And when they met each other, my husband said to him, you know what, I'm gonna have a Saturday night, I never had a birthday. I'm gonna make myself a birthday. You wanna come to my birthday? My 19th birthday. So he says, can I bring some kids too? He says, yes, I don't have food. I just have a few rolls and I have to cut it in little pieces. That's all what I have. So he says, okay. So we went from the school to his birthday. And that's how I met my husband. But I knew my husband from home. We were next door neighbors.
So, when did you come to the United States?
When I came in the United States, my husband's family all had visas to come into America. We had here uncles and aunties. Before the war, 37, 38, 39, they came. So they came in, you know, legal, that they sent them the tickets and everything. And my husband had already, because he had here a brother and a sister, after the concentration camp, they sent papers we should come. I really didn't wanna come, but my husband talked me, and my husband says, never so little family left over, so we came here. We came here in the high 50s, beginning of 60. No, we came to Oakland. We came in the 50s to New York, right? To Oakland, I came in the 60s. Right.
51 or 52.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
New York.
right. 50, I think 50.
How many children did you have, or do you have children?
Yeah.
How many?
Huh?
How many children?
How many children do you have?
I had 2 kids. My both kids passed away. My daughter passed away on the lungs, like lung cancer, and my son passed away in a heart attack, an aneurysm.
Oh, sorry. I want to thank you very much. I think we finished this tape. I want to thank you so much for your interview.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
Actually, I'm her
Okay.
daughter-in-law.